Okay, welcome to Drawing with Birds with the Aldo Leopold Audubon Society. We are so happy you are all joining us today to continue this series that we started last year, and it was so popular that we decided to do it again this year. Brody, did you have a question? I saw your fingers up. Nope. Okay. Today, we are going to be drawing the bald eagle. So we are so excited about bringing this one. I'm going to ask you a few questions about a bald eagle. A bald eagle is a raptor. Does anyone know what a raptor is or what makes a raptor? You can go ahead and raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself and answer that. I see Joy, you have your hand raised. Why don't you go ahead and answer that question, Joy, or some of the things?
The beak, the eyes, and the feet.
Those are very distinct features of a raptor. You're exactly right. So Joy had said the feet on a raptor, they're very strong. We call them talons. They have very strong talons that are meant for gripping their prey. You had mentioned the beak. Yes, the beak is usually hooked. So there's a hook on it, and that's for tearing up. They have to get through some of the skin or some of the, rip apart their animals to eat, because they eat other animals. That's what a raptor does. And those strong, you said eyesight, Joy, very good one on that one too, is yes, they have extremely good, narrow, zoomed in vision. But raptors typically can't see very good peripheral. So their eyesight's like this. So they really need to move their eyes in order to see their prey, but they see it zoomed in, very, very strong eyesight they have. What a raptor means is to cease and carry away. So the word raptor, R-A-P-T-O-R, means to cease and carry away. So that's a very good word for a raptor, I think. Anyone else can think of something else? Those are really very good features that Joy had mentioned, but if anyone else has something else to add about what makes a raptor, you're welcome to join, or use the chat is also one that you could use. Yes, Joy, you wanted to add something to it too.
I think the wings and the tail.
Yeah, the wings and tails are somewhat, they're more broad typically. When you think about a raptor, it's going to have to pull its prey, and sometimes the prey is pretty heavy. And they can carry quite large things that are almost equal to their body weight. So those broad wings help them lift their prey if they have to move that animal. So they protect it so they get to eat it and something else can't come around and just steal it from them. So yes, some of those raptors do have really broad wings and tail to be able to lift and carry away their prey. So that is very good. So the bald eagle is going to be our bird of today. The bald eagle is one of the largest raptors we have in the United States. There's actually two that are larger than that. We have a golden eagle that's larger, and our California condor, I believe, are the two that are larger. There could be others, but I think the bald eagle is number 3 on that list. So today we're going to also learn. Do you know anything else about a bald eagle? Anyone else have an idea about a bald eagle other than Joy right now? You were like prepped for this, Joy. I don't know.
I don't know. I just ran and get a book.
Oh, you ran.
Can I say something?
Yes, Karen.
So maybe some of you can think about, what is our national bird?
Did you know the bald eagle is also our national bird? So the symbol often used for our country on our coins and in many different symbols of our country. So it's very iconic as well. and used in a lot of different things, I'm sure. And using the raise your hand tool, have you ever seen a bald eagle? Who's seen a bald eagle? You can use this little reactions button, and you can raise your hand of saying, I've seen a bald eagle.
I don't know where that is.
Thumbs up button. Bella has, yep, Brody has, Avery. Wow, you all are so very lucky. The first time I ever saw a bald eagle was when I was 21 years old. When I was growing up, there weren't a lot of bald eagles. To see one was very lucky. Where now our numbers have really come back. So we're very lucky because of the work of conservation workers and biologists. We're able to increase the numbers of this very iconic bird that was really very, very few left in the wild. And that was because of loss of habitat and chemicals. A very specific chemical, DDT, was tied to the decline of the bald eagle. So at one time, there was only about 400 bald eagles left in the United States. Their nesting pairs dropped to 400. That was very, very, very low numbers, almost to the point where it was almost extinct. But with the work and the support of a lot of organizations and biologists working together, we were able to increase their numbers. And now we're able to see them today. So you're very lucky if you've seen one before. Okay, with that, I am going to turn it over to our artist today, Miss Karen Sig, and she is going to walk us through our drawing of the bald eagle. So Karen?
Hi. All right. Well, when I was picking this, and I have to thank, I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly who suggested this, but one of you asked, could we draw a bald eagle? And this is the other thing with Miss Susan and I, we enjoy doing this so much, and we want to do, birds and things that are of interest to you folks that are our audience and our partners in this. So we, we picked the bald eagle, and I thought, do I want it flying? Do I want it sitting? Had to come up with something. So anyway, I found this particular kind of drawing, and it's got a lot of lines, but we're going to take it step by step and go from there. And if you have, your paper and just average even pencil, I always encourage you to have an eraser handy because drawing, at least for me, I love and need an eraser here and there. So anyway, I just don't always make perfect lines, and that's what I hope you don't worry about. It's even if you don't have an eraser, it's just all practice. It's supposed to be fun, and then we'll just, so this is kind of what we're gonna work towards, all right? And, in the short time we have. So I'm gonna put this little down here, and if you've got your paper and your pencils, maybe some crayons or colored pencils afterwards, but I'll take it step by step, and I will kind of get you going. All right, now on your paper, the other big thing that I like to point out is what I call kind of perspective and or orientation, and where you start and one line compared to another, etc. So on your piece of paper, I'm going to just start kind of somewhat in the middle, because we got to make room for all of the bird to fit on your piece of paper, because that would be really a shame if you kind of got started and all of a sudden, I don't have room for that wing, and it's going to look kind of weird if I make it smaller. So anyway, we start here, and we're going to make a little curve. We're going to start with the beak. So you can see where it's I hope you can. Could somebody tell me, can you see that okay, or do I need to make it darker? Because for some reason my Joy, are you on mute? Why? Okay,
Yeah.
I got to change my view because I can't see.
I can see it.
Okay, for some reason I'm not seeing me as a speaker. All right, let me try a different view so I can at least see. Okay. All right. Oh, well, that's not working. Okay. Anyway, so there I've made that little line, and then I'm going to make another little line, you know, next to it. Kind of, again, I've got a very pointy beak like that. Pretty small. Doesn't have to be too big there. You can see it's pointing down. Then I'm going to start making the head from that beak. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go up and over. And now you can kind of see, you know, go with a little bit of perspective, you know, how far did we go over? There you go. And then I'm going to also go underneath to make more of the head. All right. Then after that, we're going to kind of make the top part of the beak. There. I just kind of made a little squiggly line there. And next, I'm going to move on to the eye. And the eye is just another kind of almost like an S. And then I'll put the eye part under it there. And then you make an S and then a circle. So hopefully you can kind of see that. And then the circle, I darkened the bottom left part of the eye, not all of it. I left a little bit of white space, if you notice it there. And then just to give it a little perspective under it, I'm just going to make a little line there, you know, just to kind of help you identify it as the eye. Okay. So, wow, see, we already have a head and a beak and an eye. All right. Now we're going to begin to kind of outline where the wings are going to go. And from here, I'm going to take this and I'm going to go over and up. Sort of stretching that out. Get a little curve over and up. All right. Now this is where one thing that I do to help keep my kind of like perspective, so everything sort of balances, because you want, let's say, the wings to be the same size. You want the body to be in proportion to the wings and all that. So what I do sometimes is like take just imaginary, a line across, and I want you to make just like a little dot right here, just for a little. And then you're going to take your pencil and go up to that little dot that you just made. So that way, you know that that wing is going to be like that line is almost as tall as that other one. Because otherwise it might be kind of hard to know where to start and stop. And that one's got a little wiggle in it. And if you don't have the wiggle, that's okay. But the idea is you want a line going up so it's about as tall as that other one. Okay. And what we're doing is also doing all the groundwork for just kind of where things are fitting on here. So now I'm also going to draw some other kind of important lines for our perspectives. Going to go down here and notice that one. This is basically the shape of the body, or like the chest. And you can kind of see it's almost in line with that one. That's a good thing to always kind of look for, like how does a line compare to another line on the bird? And so that might be helpful for you. Okay, then what I'm going to also do is the tail. Now, the way I kind of, again, using my comparison, let's say I put my pencil where the eye is, and I'm gonna go straight across for a little bit. And then, little dot there. And then that tells me maybe this is where I'm gonna start the tail, the top of the tail. So it's gonna be just almost in the same line as the eye and the beak. That's a good way to know where to start that. And, it just goes a little past where the one part of the wing was. And all of this is going to be important in just a little bit as we keep adding more key points to the bird. All right, now we're going to move on to drawing the legs and the feet. Yeah, I know we got kind of started on the tail and wings, but we're going to go to the feet next. So what I'd like you to do is take here where you're by the body, we're going to take and make a line here and here. 2 lines. One is kind of crossing or, into the body, and one just comes out right from the body. Basically, we're going to do the front leg and then the one that's behind on the other back side of the body. All right. Now the feet are kind of the funny, little complicated. Well, actually here, I'm going to draw this this line here too. But notice I didn't connect it right there. I left a spot because this is where we're going to put the beginning of the foot. So in that little space there, I am going to start drawing a squiggly foot like that. It has 3 parts to it right now. Like 3 fingers at the top and then like the wrist coming down or, hand. I mean, that's how it's going to kind of look to us. I'm kind of comparing it to for you guys. And then after that, if you get those 3 fingers, I'm going to add like the 4th finger in there. Just make a little loop across on that little spot up here. All right. And after you have that foot done, and we'll get to the talons in a minute, but that's the foot. We're going to come down and basically kind of draw another 3, well, in this case, not really 3, but here. Kind of looks like a little bit different. You got the 2 talons, or I'm sorry, and then another one in between. So now this is probably the most complicated. The other things all just kind of fall into place with a lot of lines that are parallel. I mean, they're right, follow right along each other. But this is probably the most complicated little part here is getting those feet. So I'll let you look at that a little bit. Get those kind of things going. And after that, then I'm just kind of connecting this here so that it looks like the leg is, the foot is connected to the leg right in here. Close that up in case there was a little space. And then after this is a fun part. We're going to add the talons. So we got nice sharp talons at the end. And the thing is with these, notice what way those are facing. They're all kind of curved this way. When we get to the bottom, which is kind of like their thumb, if you want to think of it, they're going to go this way. So the idea that they can grab and clasp, just like we have with our thumbs, that they can grab and clasp their prey. So there we've added the little talons on the ends of their feet. All right. And if you aren't quite getting on all that detail, we can, you can go back later, watch this later, or maybe you'll just have time to look at the drawing a little closer if you maybe get some of the wings done a little faster than others. Because again, some point here, the wings just become a lot of different lines. So with that, I am going to start adding some lines to the wing for the wings. So with, I'm going to start over here, and about that far up, I'm going to start making some lines. So there and there. And see, I'm making nice long just lines. And for some of you that have been doing this with us before, you're going to soon find out how do we make all those lines into feathers. We just make a little loop at the top. Ta-da! And that way you notice how you've suddenly made feathers. Now I made basically 5 feathers there. I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. And actually I didn't even, think of it, but, I went just as far as I could have maybe made help you realize how wide apart to make those lines, but they're not too far apart. Now the wings kind of have, there's all different types of feathers on wings. Oh my gosh, Susan might know, sorry about that. Susan might know what they're all called. I just know that they go different shapes and all that, or ways. So now we're going to make some lines that are just a little bit different angle and a little shorter. And so you can just see how I'm making some real short little lines, and I'm ending, just on sort of the back side of, like kind of the hat. Short little lines, a little closer together in a little bit different angle. All right. And then after you get all those, you can just start making the little hoops or humps or whatever for the feather. So then I just circle it around at the top, and there you go. Ta-da, you're getting feathers. Woohoo, woohoo. All right. Isn't it amazing? Like you think, wow, at first it looks really complicated, and pretty soon you can do it pretty easily. So now I'm going to do identify another part of the wing. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go kind of a little wiggly up and over, and at the top, I'm ending, see where that little bump is? That's where I'm going to, or you could even start here and go over and down. But I just want to identify there's a different part of the feathers on the wing. So we kind of get this little line going. And then after that, notice there's still a lot of space right up in here. Nothing's happening right now in that area. But we're going to change that in just a minute. We're going to start adding some more lines to make another row of different types of feathers. Now these ones are shorter little lines. Again, so I'm just making 1, 2, 3. It's almost the way I compare it is like if you're making, when you draw a sun and you put all the little lines around to make all the rays, you just make a bunch of little lines spreading out from that line you just had made.
All right, Karen, there's a request to just wait, please.
Okay.
Let us catch up a little bit.
All right. Tell you what, I will just make the lumps or humps, and then I'm going to just stop and let you guys just finish all your little lumps or humps, whatever. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
But I thank you that I never quite know how fast I'm going. So I appreciate you sharing that information. I really do. Again, this is to help you. So I'm just going to give you some time now to make all those different lines going different directions. Short, long, and then connect them with little bumps on the tops. I don't know if somebody could give me a little bit of an idea when you think, again, I'm comfortable waiting. I really, want to be patient and let you guys get at least some feel for, how far you go. I don't want you to get too frustrated. So you can just let me know when, like to add a
Yep,
few more.
I think we're good. I think we're good. Thank you.
All right, here we go again then. Well, now we just have one other little thing we're going to add to that particular wing. And that's just kind of one other little line just to add a little other detail there. Now from here, we're going to make a line that identifies where the very distinctive white head ends and begins and all that. So here I'm kind of making some very kind of up and down jagged kind of lines. And notice I started right about here. Again, put your pencil like where that wing ended and bring it down to just a little past where that right there's like a little thing. Or if you get it right at the corner, that's okay too. But it's just the idea that we all kind of, with those of you, especially you seen photos and or have seen them, that there's a very distinct line where the white head is and then the darker feathers. And as you're doing that, one thing though that I find is interesting is that juvenile or young eagles, they can be completely brown for, I believe it is 2 to 3 years before they start getting all their white, very distinctive white head and white tail feathers. So anyway, you might think, what is that bird? It doesn't look like an eagle. Well, that's maybe just because it's a young one. Okay. I think after this, we're going to work on the other wing now. And what, let's see. I think what I'll do is I'm going to start here. And, if you would like, I'm going to just draw a very, very light line right here, because I kind of want it to, help you understand like maybe where we're heading, how wide to make this compare. I started about here on that body line. So that's a good little bit of a reference, I think, for you to just do that lightly, because then after that, we're going to start making some of those little lines that were like over here on over here. So with that now, you can make them a little darker, but again, they're going to be short little lines. And then they got a little longer there, but they're kind of following that little line that you just gave to give you some kind of perspective. So real short little ones down at the bottom, getting a little bit wider as you go up. And then you'll do the same little, little humps on the sides or on the ends, I'm sorry. I'll give you another little bit of time to make all those lines, and then the little lumps around. Why lumps? I don't know why I got the word lumps in my head. Sorry, bumps, humps. Okay. Then after that, now we're going to add a little bit longer lines for the bigger feathers up on the top there. So, oh, actually, I'm going to give us some other perspectives. Now I'd like you to take, again, your pencil at a light line, and I'm going to help go like this. And this is something that you can erase later, but if you can kind of see that it's almost as tall as this one over here, I'm hoping you can kind of see that light line because I think, again, this will help you when we're making the next kind of distinct feathers there. And so once you have that guiding line there, compared to that line, now you can add more of those, again, the basic lines for the feathers. The lines, this one that you have the guiding line, that's where the feathers are going to end. That's where your little like hoops and that at the end will fit. So I'm not making my lines all the way to that. I'm just kind of making them kind of, again, start angling around. So this time I'll give you a little bit more time because there are more lines and they're a little longer in there. I'm not quite sure how many I added, but it doesn't, at this point for us right now, it doesn't really matter. Just make some where they are pretty, short here. They get a little longer up to that guiding line, almost up to it. And then just, again, like the rays of a sunshine, where they all spread out. All right, and then after that, then I'm going to start making those little loops. And maybe on some of these, I could make the points a little more pointy at the end, instead of real rounded. Basically, and then this is where if you did want to take your eraser, just to kind of erase that line afterwards, or if you don't, have an eraser again, it's okay. But I think those kind of things are helpful for you to, especially as you're first learning how to help you get all of that to be in perspective. Because that's the fun part of drawing is, well, you can always do creative drawing. I will never say that's a bad thing, but with you're trying to draw a bird like this, you're hoping that it really looks like the bird that you're trying to draw. So you're trying to make it all in perspective. All right, and then after that, now then we're almost ready to draw some more parts of the feather. This one, I think you could maybe just make your own little hoops here without necessarily making the short lines and then, hooking them up that way. Maybe just that one you can just draw like that on your own because it follows along over here as well. So it's just a bunch of series of little, like making M's. Continual M or N's. And then you're going to actually just do that again, but in a little curvy, way, little smaller, maybe a little further apart and that kind of thing. So again, this doesn't have to be perfect, a number or any of that, just again, a bunch of continuous M's. And there, I'm also going to just add some other little scribble there too. So, wow, see, hopefully we're done with the wings. We really just have a little bit to the body and then the tail, and then we're done. And if we have time, we can do a little coloring in. Otherwise, you can always do the coloring in afterwards, but we'll try to get to some of that here. So now what I'd like to do is to finish or connect where the body is. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go kind of a little wiggly because it's, the feathers. I'm going to go straight across pretty much there. And then right about here, down, this is where, I'm sorry. I'm looking in the here. I'm looking in the screen and I'm getting a little disoriented here. Not straight down. It's a little bit of an angle here. Sorry about that. All right. And then from here, we're going to make more lines that are like the rays of on a sun. So I'm going to make a bunch of lines that just are kind of coming out and at different angles and lengths. There. So yeah, they got definitely a lot shorter here, a lot longer up there. And I'm just going to connect them. All right. Well, there's just a few more lines that we're going to do to just kind of put a little more perspective in the body. There's kind of one like right along here. And they're just like little wiggly ones now. Nothing real, you know, nothing has to be really in a specific spot, but it will just help make it look like there's feathers and a little perspective on the body. And right now we're done with the basic outline of the eagle. Yay! I'll give you time to just sort of catch up. And then I'd like to, spend a little time doing some colors, or if you want to share them now, you can, or we can wait until we're all done because I love seeing how things are turning out. But some might be finishing up their dark lines. If you have any other colored pencils like yellows or kind of a orangey yellow, blacks or browns, these are all colors that we would use for to do the beak, the talons, and the darker parts of the body. So even just your regular pencil, one pencil would be fine. But if you do have the others, oh, great, Della. Wow. What fun. Good job. All right. So I'm going to start. Let's see. The beak and the talons are the fun part because then you can get that bright color in there. They tend to be, yellow. So I'm going to color this in with a pretty bright yellow. And if I want to add a little different perspective in there, I might put a little orange on, the bottom to make it look a little shadowy, but it's really pretty bright yellow. All right. And then that goes also for the feet. So I'm just going to color in. Now, as you are coloring in, if you can get your color to come up as close as you can to the black line, and I'll show you this in a minute, it adds just that look of, I don't know, fills in the details. It's kind of, like when you're in kindergarten, can you color in the lines? But, that really helps. You can get it right up there. I, again, might add just a little orange on the edge to give it a little perspective here, like the one foot is behind the other, so it's going to be a little different color. See? But basically, you could just color them all yellow. And then if you have a black, or just take your black pencil again, you can make those talons completely black. There you go. Making a little more detail on those feet. All right. So So now, depending on what colors you have, or if you just even have a regular pencil, I'm going to use, let's see, I'm going to use a kind of a darker black pencil, a colored pencil versus just a regular one. But the idea is sort of the same, that we're going to show what parts are more in the light, they're going to be lighter, and what ones are in the shadow are going to be obviously darker. So for example, like this leg right here, this one is behind the other. So we're going to kind of darken that, make the corner right, right here, a little darker, and then just a little lighter as you come out away from it. So it's not super dark on the outer edge, but dark right in that corner. Ooh, there, that's going to really, or along that edge. And that's going to kind of go for the same for the bottom part of the bird. I'm going to color along, kind of dark along this area. And then I'm just coloring or pressing lighter and just, you know, again, not pressing so hard to make it a little blended. Okay. And this is a fun, because this will definitely start making it look more like a bald eagle with a white head. I'm filling in right up on all those parts of the head. All right, and you can just kind of do it all light at first, just to fill in some color, you know, just because this is where you can spend more time afterwards if we don't have time to finish it now. But I kind of like to get to, yeah, over here to show that we've got the white tail feathers. So again, I'm just going back and forth real lightly, and just again, adding some color so the white parts stand out more. And one thing that you can also do for the wings, all these different sets of feathers, I'm going to color in around the outside. So it looks like the top of that feather is out in the light more, gives a little there. Let's see, then I get darker and then I lighten up again. I'll do it around this one too then. Let's do it this way. Kind of get a little darker in there and then come back out, just lighter and lighter, press lighter. And just all the little nooks, you know, those are where you can press a little harder and get a little darker kind of in those corners. All right, see, I'm just sort of spreading it out along there. And I'm just going to talk about it. Maybe I'll just show a few here, and then you can finish it more so later. Like on these, I'm going to make a little darker on the bottom side of each feather. I'll just do this a little bit like that. And again, you can finish it more as we go. I'm going to add just again, a little, just to show that this is all some color. It's, you know, definitely a darker bird. It's not going to be white like the head and the tail. And then I'm just doing the same on here. Again, you can always add more to these feathers, spend time, you know, doodling, think of it, doodling, drawing, whatever, having fun. But that, again, here, I'm just trying to get it a little bit moved along. Another idea could be, they're not really completely black. Sometimes you'll see, well, here in, I think Susan's photo, the there's a lot of brown in there too. So for example, I've got a brown pencil and now I can add, you know, some brown on top of there as well. So this is where you just start playing around and just having some fun on colors. Like, and when you are drawing or looking at any birds, it really, all this drawing really does help you look more carefully, like what kind of beak, eyes, you know, feet, tail, wings does it have? What colors? Where did the color end and where did it begin? Oh my gosh, it had, you know, a stripe here and a white there. And so you'll also notice the colors more when you look more carefully. And that also helps you either identify them or even just appreciate how beautiful they are, because they, oh my gosh, I didn't realize an eagle had so many different colors. I just thought they were all brown or all black. No, they got a little bit of everything in there. So this just shows, again, improves your observation skills, and you can notice a little bit more about everything out in the world and about the birds that you might like watching or drawing, or just, you know, watching out by your house or going out in the field or, you know, woods, all that. So actually, I'm just going to stop here. And, you know, see if you guys have any questions, let you catch up. You can share them if you'd like. But again, you have, you know, can still continue. Oh, yay, Susan. You still can continue working on it, making it as elaborate as you want, or just say, you know, sometimes a sketch or, you know, the so far is great. Other times, no, I want to put a lot of detail in it. I want to keep working on this. And that's all up to you.